It's no secret that I am a person with a lot of books, but you might be surprised to learn that recently I have about doubled my book collection. I won't go into the reasons now, but my mom has been accumulating all of these boxes of vintage books, and at this point most of them are stored in my basement. There are boxes and boxes of books. I don't even know what's in there yet. I had wanted to do this video getting organized and showing you guys all of these awesome vintage books, but there are just too many, so that is going to be a project for a later date once I have a better handle on what I'm doing with all of them. But for today, I wanted to show you some vintage books to get inspired by. Hey WordNerds, happy Friday and happy weekend. I am here today to do an inspiration corner. Like I was saying in my intro, I have so many new books in my house, and looking through books, just things that you wouldn't necessarily read on a regular basis, can be so inspiring. So I've picked out books not quite at random, just ones that I thought might be interesting, and we're going to check them out. First up, we have 5 Men of Letters from the All About Great Writers series. This covers Shakespeare, Byron, Dickens, Twain, and London. It is a teeny tiny book published 41 years ago, and it seems to be a very quick refresher on getting to know some of the great authors of old. This next one is a Reader's Digest collection published 54 years ago, and it's not so much the books I want to show you guys, it is the beautiful, beautifulness of this book. Just look at this. I know we all get kind of obsessed with YA books that come out now that have beautiful covers and beautiful dressings underneath, but it's really cool to see that this kind of stuff has been happening for a very long time. This next book is the 6th part of an encyclopedia set. I'm not even entirely sure what it's about. A few of the first pages have been ripped out, but it is such a cool, old-looking book. I think that's like a genie lamp on a book on the front. And then the spine is really cool. It was published in 1924, and this one is just really pretty to look at. Of course, it's what's inside a book that we really care about, so this next book is kind of an encyclopedia on Renaissance culture. It is part of a 4-book series. I just didn't want to lug them all upstairs. The other ones are like medieval culture and Roman and Greek, I think, off the top of my head. It was published 49 years ago, and I think this could be a really interesting set just for getting inspired and creating fantasy worlds or just different cultures. I'm sure there's a lot of really cool information in this particular book. This next one I just picked up because I thought the spine was kind of fun. It is called Mary Robert Reinhardt's Mystery Book, so who knows what's in there, although I suspect it's mysteries. Then we have a 54-year-old copy of Pride and Prejudice. Obviously, this is nowhere near a first edition of this book, but it's just really cool to see how long this particular story has been floating around. It's from a school system in my area, so it's got a bunch of library stamps on it, and it's just really cool to see a lot of people reading a story that I've loved in the past. Finally, I have a book from the World's Great Classics collection. This one is a bunch of essays written by Emerson, but it is one part in a very, very big series. I have many copies of this downstairs, not necessarily this particular book. There's another one full of Poe stories, and a bunch of them filled with just different essays from famous authors. And I also have a bunch of Harvard lectures downstairs. So there's just a lot of great information in all of these books that I'm sure I could get lost in for days and days and days. So my inspiration challenge for you guys for this next week is to go out in the world and search down some vintage books. Even if they're not things you would necessarily buy, check them out and see what's out there, because you never know what you're going to find. There are some really cool stories that aren't getting passed around as much anymore, and a lot of great nonfiction information that can go a long way towards fueling your own stories. Plus, have we talked about how pretty vintage books are? So that's it for me today, but hopefully I will see you on Sunday for our next live chat. We are talking about Angel Fall by Susan E., which I finished reading this week, and I have a lot to say, so hopefully we will see you there.